This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
This table is really tilted.
Excuse me? Am I gonna get a chance to speak?
Maybe I should take that back.
Denied. Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Take a giant step for mankind.
Welcome to the Tilted Table with your hosts, Sean and Joe.
Folks, welcome to another episode of the Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I am Sean Kabibi.
And I am Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac.
And happy Merry Post-Christmas.
One day after Christmas.
One day after Christmas, right? Everybody celebrating the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Are you so far having fun? Are you the guy that mixes and mingles at 1,000 different parties?
No, I've gone out to a couple of, dinners, meeting up with friends and whatnot. And yeah, for the most part, it's been pretty cool.
Did you wear all your funny, ugly Christmas sweaters?
No, and I was out. It's weird. I hooked up with my friend Ben and his girl Samantha, and they were both wearing ugly sweaters. And they're looking at me going like, well, where's your ugly sweater? And I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to wear one. I would have. I don't have one. We already had this conversation. Oh, yeah. But I figured out which, I created this on the fly, and I was talking to Ben. I did create my own ugly sweater. I am going to get it made. So here's the sweater. It's going to have Satan with the Santa cap and the Santa suit on, and it'll say Satan. And then at the bottom of the sweater, it's going to say, I'm dyslexic. Come on. First of all, that should sell millions.
Oh, that's outstanding. Your mind works in amazing ways.
Well, this is stupid because, first of all, I can't be the first person to realize that Santa and Satan are just basically swapping, some letters around. I was taking a walk the other day because I have been diligent about my walking. And everybody's got their Christmas shit up, right?
All the inflatables.
Yeah, and so I'm walking by and it's this monster truck that's it's supposed to kind of look like a sleigh. Right, and it's this big old monster truck. It's the most redneck shit I've ever seen. Not the most redneck shit I've ever seen, but it's pretty redneck. With Santa, leaning out the door, the window, like he's driving it, right? And he's got like a bandana on, and and it says Santa on it. He's got like not the tank top, like a shirt
like a wife beater.
Yeah, with the shirt. No, a shirt with like the sleeves cut off, and it says Santa. And I just looked at it and I'm like, yeah, that's basically Satan, flipped around. And I started thinking about the whole religious context of Christmas and whatnot, how close that is to Satan. So when I came up with the sweater idea, I was already in the mindset that, there we go. That'd be a great sweater.
So are you going to actually load up your cart? I mean, the day is day after Christmas.
I know I should be able to get ugly sweaters on massive discount.
Yep, Tipsy Elves.
And I don't know. I don't know. I know it's there. I just haven't looked for it. Is some website that'll design me a sweater. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure they would. And there's a million of those sites.
Oh, tons. Yeah.
My only issue would be quality. Sometimes I see them on Amazon all the time. You can buy like hats and get any text or any logo or image you want on it. And I'm always skeptical of the quality of that shit.
Straight from Pakistan.
So yeah, did all that stuff, and yeah, it was fun. Had a good time.
We have an entire plastic bin that's full of ugly Christmas sweaters, but this year, let's see, I think I've only worn 2, and I probably have 20. So that's actually this has been an irregular year for me, and getting to sport all of my craziness out in the world.
Wait, hold up, you got 20. You got 20 ugly sweaters?
Okay, so here's the thing, is the day after Christmas for the last number of years. So Tipsy Elves is an absolutely hilarious site. They specialize in ugly Christmas sweaters.
Oh, okay, so that's where you're going to get the good stuff. Yeah, you were talking about this and get the discounts, right?
Yeah, so Cookie will always, it's like, buy one, get 2 free type of a thing.
Oh, okay, so
just after a number of years of that, I've got tons of really, really hilarious ones.
Oh, okay, cool.
But my favorite one actually I got to wear a week ago is they had a full suit. So like pants, sport jacket. There's I bought it separately, but it almost is a dead match sweatshirt. with Christmas kittens all over it. So I have gone to some parties completely head to toe, shoes included, red Christmas kittens, and it's been awesome. It's hilarious when people will be like, "Oh, dude, I got to take a picture of you right now."
Oh yeah.
And then you look at the picture and you're like, "Wow, that is a lot. That is a lot." It's so much a lot that Cookie passed me one of our rescue cats, and the rescue cat saw I was wearing all of these Christmas kittens, and just the rescue cat seeing the number of cats, it startled him, and like he flew out of the door.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's good. But no, Christmas this time of the year is my absolute favorite holiday, favorite period of time. But one of the things you and I were talking about before we hopped on the microphone is, I think most people get caught up in all of their stuff, right? So you got family, friends, people coming from out of town, people you haven't seen in forever. And, it's this go, 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 go. And everybody doesn't, no fault of your own, but you don't see past your own nose.
Oh, yeah.
And so you forget or just don't consciously think about all of the people that's not their reality, right? And you can touch on this a little bit, but I have some friends that are going through some pretty dark times. And they reach out to me and with, like, "Hey man, this was like the worst Christmas ever. I'm by myself, no one's checking on me, blah, blah, blah." So it was just kind of a reminder that it's awesome to enjoy the moment, but it's also really important to remember it's a big world out there and there's a lot of people that are struggling, and to, make sure that you spread your attention around, and maybe take a more active or be cognizant of the people that might not be in a as blessed of a position as you are, and actually put some of your time into that. I think it's not just important, it's critical.
Yeah, well, I've run into those situations with a number of people, but yeah, I mean, it's well known that, Christmas, it can be one of the more depressing times of the year, despite, the fact that it's supposed to be the exact opposite of that. For a lot of people it is. Yeah, if they're completely alone, all that holiday cheer just, I guess probably just highlights a state of loneliness or depression that they may already be in.
It circles it, it highlights it, it's got arrows and blinking neon pointing at it. And yeah, I think it's we are the fountain of misinformation, but somewhere, somehow in the back...
Yeah, don't take this as any kind of medical advice. We know?
In the midst of my mind, though, is like there is some type of a study that this is like the one time of the year that like suicide is,
it's like super high.
It's super high,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
So not to be like bring a big dark cloud into a happy time of the year, but it's we definitely want to make sure that we highlight, for all of the legions of intergalaxial listeners out there is,
Yeah, and I don't want anyone to think that we know anything about this shit. These are the things that we've heard. I mean, Jesus Christ, we're sitting in a room where we have a bunch of malt liquor bottles sitting on our equipment that have flowers growing out of them.
Plastic flowers.
So don't. This is not a medical office.
No, it is not. There is nothing official about what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the holidays are tough, dude. I mean, I was telling you this earlier. It was like my dad told me once that he thought, like, vacation was this sort of like, idea that you're supposed to get away from the stresses of work. And he found that when you took vacation, and especially if you took like a trip, obviously, that was more stressful than the actual job that you were trying to get away from, away from the stress. So, holidays, can be not just stressful for people who, may not have people, around them, or if they're lonely or depressed or whatever, but it can also be stressful for people that have the exact opposite. They have a shit ton of family and friends and everybody coming in and out, and kids and trees and presents and dinners, and that can get pretty wild, and so I was talking to a bartender the other day, and I had said something about them, you're going to be shut down for Christmas. And they're like, "Oh, no, we're open." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "Like, why?" And it's like, you'd be surprised how many people come out. And I think it's a lot of people that are probably at the end of that run, especially you talk about Christmas morning, after the presents are open, the kids are playing with all their new toys and whatnot, and everything's kind of winding down, and you have that one last probably Christmas dinner. Yeah, I bet some of the adults are just like, I got to get the fuck out of here, just to get away from, the whole family and the insanity of the holiday seasons. It can be stressful on that end as well. I mean, last year I hooked up with my uncle and my aunt and a couple of my cousins, And a bunch of people were in and out, and it was just, yeah, could tell my uncle's old. He's in his 90s, and he's spry, but you could tell he's just like, and he's one of those old school. I mean, he's 92. You can't get him. It's pretty damn old school. Yeah, you could tell that he was like, where's the garage or the space I can escape to and, go smoke a cigar and just like fucking forget about all this shit that's going on. It's too much for him. So, it happens on both ends, but obviously the people that are left alone, that's, it's not a good place to be, man. And, you get those phone calls or those text messages, and that's pretty frightening if somebody says that,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be, something as... well, I'm not going to get all dark about it. It just, it's like,
this is right. It's holiday seasons. Let's talk about suicide.
Yeah, right. Well, I think that's the important thing is, do the things that you don't feel like doing or don't want to do, but they're super important. So.
I think YouTube will probably hit. You can't say suicide, right? You have to say like, what's
self-harm?
No, there's like a delete oneself or something like that. People use all kinds of code words to get around it. I don't know if it's going to get flagged. I ain't going to change it. I can give a shit about YouTube. Fuck YouTube. I'm serious, man. It's like, who the fuck listens to podcasts on YouTube?
It's true.
I mean, like we get, I was saying that we get on average about 100 downloads. Like it's through whatever Apple, Spotify, all the different platforms we're on.
Right.
I think we get like 1 or 2 views on YouTube, and it's probably me checking it to see if it uploaded correctly,
or if it's me like linking it in any of my marketing materials. So we are our own listeners and viewers on YouTube.
Shit, yeah, we're our own biggest fans. Maybe we filmed ourselves. Do the I don't know. I guess the Joe Rogan style. That sounds like that would just take up a fucking shit ton. You can get an episode a week. That's for damn sure. We might get an episode a month if you're lucky.
It's a lot of work, man. I have a couple friends that have like audio or video podcasts, and the amount of time they spend in production and cameras and equipment and rails that move the cameras, so you're not actually holding it, but it slides up and down these rails.
Yeah, they're the tracks. Yeah, my dad used to use them. Yeah,
the amount of time and energy and effort and money and everything else. It's like, no, I'm cool, man. We can just hang out on Apple and Spotify.
Oh yeah, I mean, to me, it's all radio. It's like, I don't know why again, for YouTube, I guess you need the visual component. The algorithm on YouTube, I'm sure it leans that way. I would assume. Yeah, because I can't imagine too many people go onto YouTube to listen to just audio.
Yeah, except I would probably be the best case person for that. Is I got. You know how at the end of the year on all these streaming sites, it'll be like, let's do your year-end wrap-up. What's your favorite artist? What's your favorite album? What song did you listen to the most? I use YouTube daily for hours just for listening, and I'm not looking at anything. It's just in my headphones. So
yeah, it's like somebody's cleaning house or whatever.
Yeah, but I certainly don't look for podcasts on YouTube only to listen to them.
I don't know how much of those even exist. Most people are using video, and I know they hire people. There's a complete industry of companies. I mean, I've been contacted, at least I've gotten 100 emails. Turn your your podcast into video, and they supposedly do it for you. What I'm assuming they do is you just film whatever straight fucking raw footage, send them all the audio and video, and then they edit it for you and make it into a nice, pretty little presentation.
Well, is this where we say we got to shout out our sponsor?
Yeah, this episode is brought to you by Manscaped, right? Isn't that everybody? Or Raid Shadow Legends?
No, there's 2 places that are sponsoring our episode. There's the House of Walkman, and then there's Vintage Walkman. Yeah. So Scooter, thank you for your support.
I don't know who Scooter is, but thank you for your support, Scooter.
Oh, and a real quick side note, I want to shout out the Stray Cats. It's
wait, the band?
No, it's 2 friends. We're on this group text that's been going for a decade. That's called Stray. Well, it's currently entitled Stray Cats Reloaded. So LJP and Anders, thank you for listening. Thank you for your patronage. And for contributing to all of our podcasting material.
Yeah, as soon as we hit 1 million followers and we become the biggest thing on the planet, you can say, like, hey, I was there when they had nobody. And it would be accurate. Like, we really did have absolutely nobody.
It was just our mom, or my mom.
So, yeah, I don't really care too much about YouTube. Although we've only had that one episode that was What do you call it? It wasn't banned. They just blocked it, knocked it down, deleted it.
Dumb. And
I actually don't think it's deleted. I think it's there. It's just you can't. I can. And I can listen to it, but you can't.
Well, that didn't, and they also had made you take some remedial classes and online.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, it was. That's right. That's so fucking stupid. It just reminds me of my own training at work, where they make us do this just brain dead nonsense because it's required. But yeah, after they nailed us for saying the C word, I guess is what it was all about. I don't. First of all, before I get into what that training was, I don't get it. That thing happened years ago, and it wasn't that big of a... Well, I don't know. I guess somebody could get mad and say it was a big deal. But, I mean, even today, you can't talk about it. Like, come on, man. I mean... That's
what blows my mind.
Yeah, it's like... I think maybe somebody would correct me. I'm gonna stick to my guns. It's fuck you. It's my podcast. I can say what I want. I don't think it was that big of a deal. And at the end of the day, it wasn't like it was the Black Plague. You know, it didn't wipe out half the population or some weird shit like that. And now it's fucking 4 years removed from that shit, and you still can't talk about it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, and that's one of those things that, you know, I don't have a tinfoil hat, but because just the mystery and the frustration surrounding two random dudes in a small room in Northern California doing a podcast and talking about a thing that has a 19 in it, and that being like it needs to be struck down and eliminated from the internet. That's wild to me.
Yeah, I don't get it.
That is.
But then again,
crazy.
the internet baffles me anyways. It's almost fucking so toxic. And even the fact that we're doing a podcast, we're buying into it. We're part of the problem over here. But yeah, the training that they made me do was for the life of me, I can't remember. It was like a series of questions, and it's just like, you know, I wish I could. I actually honestly don't know what they asked me, but it had something to do with, you know, about misinformation. Like I guess I could get up here and say, you know, well, did you know that, you know, Trump did X, and it could be a completely fabricated lie, the most insane thing. Although with Trump, it might actually be true, no matter what you said something really insane, but that wouldn't get, you know, knocked around. But say one thing about the dreaded C word, and all of a sudden it's like, well, it's misinformation. Whatever. I don't get it. It just baffles me.
Well, literally, the world keeps on spinning, man.
Oh yeah, it keeps going. You know, and I don't think people care that much about it. I don't hear anybody talk about it anymore. So I don't know why it's, you know, considered the boogeyman.
Well, it's still
the YouTube boogeyman.
It blows my mind as when I see people like riding a motorcycle or a bicycle on a windy day by themselves in the middle of nowhere wearing a mask. That I'm like, literally, it's statistically impossible.
Yeah, I still see some people wearing masks.
That's just a political statement at that point. It has nothing to do with health. It's just a political statement.
Right. And again, well, first of all, if I see somebody with a mask, I don't necessarily think it's because of that. They could be actually legitimately sick, and they just don't, you know, want to spread their germs. Or some people are just germaphobes. Or some people are getting ready to rob a liquor store, and this is, you know, they can wear that and no one's going to think that, you know, they're suspicious. Try walking around town with a ski mask on. People are going to think you're robbing shit. You got a regular mask on? Nah, he's, you know, he's protecting his health.
It's crazy, man. But I do love, I have a couple of them, and I actually bought another one yesterday, a balaclava. So it's like, basically it's a neoprene, lycra, whatever, hood, head sock. You see the football players like on a really cold day, and all you can see is their face. That is a game changer, especially like for me, when I'm walking or running and it's 20-degree weather. So
it actually keeps you warm, huh?
Keeps my head warm. Yeah, as long as my head, my neck, and my hands are warm. Yeah, I can wear leggings and be golden in 20 degrees.
I was always told it's the feet. Like if your feet are cold, you're fucked.
Probably.
Oh, any extremity.
The worst is like if your feet are wet and cold. Like that's just misery.
Yeah, well, you know, this is funny because when I would go to the gym, when I first started going to the gym, I would actually change at the gym, which is to me the dumbest thing ever. I don't know how people do this because, you know, between the showers and the fucking pool, there's water all over the floor. So if I'm taking off my shoes, you know, I literally have to stand on like, you know, the benches. Otherwise, I'm going to step in a puddle. And if I get one droplet on a sock, that fucking sock has got to go into the washer. I cannot have any moisture. It's the most disgusting feeling. And I remember changing a bunch of times, and you're sitting there, whoop-de-woo, and all of a sudden, right into a puddle. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Just changing at the gym in general is always a bad idea.
I know. I don't know why I ever did it. Like, I just, put on my gym clothes. I go straight to the gym. I have a bag with me. I have my towel and my music player. And that's really all I have in my bag. And I just throw the bag into a locker. And then an empty bag sits in that locker because I pull out the towel and I get my music player and I hook it up and, just go straight work out. And then, pull the bag out when I'm done and walk out.
Wait, what did you say? Music player?
Yeah, because I ain't gonna see. Well, I think I've said it before. I still use an iPod. I know people laugh at me. I don't really care. You can laugh all you want. Use an iPod.
And I am. I didn't even know that iPods were still a thing.
Well, if you own one, they still are and they still work.
Wow.
It has Bluetooth, so there you go.
Why don't you just use your phone?
It's funny because this is so stupid. This is how old I am. I swear to God. So I had an iPod and I had regular headphones, like earbuds, and I have an iPhone. You can't plug that thing into an iPhone. So there's no way for me to listen to music. It was only on my iPod. So I had these earbuds, and they're Apple earbuds that I got with my iPod. And I bought that iPod I don't know, 10, 15 years. Oh, maybe it's not that long.
Is it like one of the Nanos, like the small one?
No. It's a fourth generation. It's one of the last generations.
Okay.
So when did they stop making them? Like 2015-ish?
Oh, I don't know. You're probably the last person to buy one.
Yeah, well, probably am. Yeah. So, anyways, I've been listening to my music through these Apple earbuds, and they were fine, and they finally broke about 3 weeks ago, and so I had to get some new headphones. Now, here's the thing I kind of perched myself on. I'm like, I should get earbuds. Because then, of course, I could do the Bluetooth and wire it up to to anything, to my phone or whatever. And so I'm like, now I'll just get some regular old earbud. They work fine. They're great. So I buy these, earbuds, and they sound fucking amazing, right? They sound really good. And so I'm like, fucking cool. So I go to the gym. But here's the problem. For whatever reason, the earbuds I bought, the wires on them are pretty thick. A lot thicker than the Apple ones. So just move your head slightly, and they're so stiff they just fall out of my head.
Wait, you have earbuds with wires?
Yes. Joe, you're not that young, son. You remember these?
No, I do remember them. I bet that they were like headphones that had like the band or the wire that would go around your head. I wouldn't earbuds with wires.
Yeah, just regular earbuds. They go straight down into the player. You don't tell me. Okay.
Those are okay. I do own these. It was always like, you get like a new phone, or back in the day, you get an iPod or whatever the deal was. And it would come like, here's your complimentary.
Yeah, those things.
Yeah. So I've never used them at all. I have a Ziploc bag full of them that are still wound around those little cardboard things.
Yeah.
And that's only for like in the event of Armageddon or in an EMP blast when you need hardwired devices.
Yeah, so my aversion to newer technology, and I don't really have an aversion to it. It just, I got these headphones. Why would I go out and buy wireless ones? I don't see a point. And again, the wires on the Apple ones were thin, and they were, I guess, extremely flexible. I never had a problem with the earbuds falling out when I'm working out or whatever. But these new ones, the wiring is pretty thick and they're stiff. So they weren't staying in my ear. And so I'm like, well, okay, now it just comes down to the reality that I have to get some wireless earbuds. So I got them. But before I bought them, I'm like, wait a second. I'm using this iPod that's ancient. Does this thing even fucking have Bluetooth? And I open up the device and, oh, yeah, it's got Bluetooth. Can't be that old, right? Does that work? So I got these earbuds, and, yeah, they work great. Yeah, I haven't had any issues with them. They're not, like, high-end ones. I don't even know what brand they are. But I got them on sale, Christmas sale, whatever.
So it's just so weird having wires in the gym.
Well, like I said, I know that typically, I don't think, generally speaking, earbuds are not good for a lot of movement. But again, the Apple ones, I can't explain why. I guess they were just flexible enough and the wires were thin enough. I'd never had a problem with them getting so stiff that if I turned my head, it would, drag one out or drag the other one out. But these new ones I bought, they did that. So I'm like, okay, I got to get some wireless ones. And I like the wireless ones are fine. Well, it definitely is a lot more freeing. I don't have to think too much. But even before, like, sometimes I'd get on like a machine, and if it involved like pushing my chest up against something, I'd have to like raise up the wire. So
Right.
otherwise, yeah, it would yank them out. So I don't have to think about that kind of shit. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind the times. But whatever. I'm sure I'll have wireless ones when they come out with the one they implant in your head, and I'll still be using the wireless ones, and people are looking at me like, "What the fuck is this old motherfucker with his wireless headphones?"
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Leave a like on the video. I know you're enjoying this. Can you shut up?
The internet's answer to a question that was never asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
Well, around Christmas time, since you do go to the gym, do you update your gym attire to reflect the season?
No, fuck that. The gym to me is strictly business. I don't wear anything new, fancy. I'm not wearing any Christmas themed, like some shirt with a jacked Santa on it.
Or what about like an inflatable T-Rex costume to work on your curls?
No, who does? Yeah, because they got the short arms.
That would make for great video content for your Instagram.
The only people I see at the gym that look like they seriously contemplate what they wear at the gym are the girls. And I don't see too many dudes doing shit like that.
Yeah.
And they're not wearing holiday attire. They're wearing the same thing they always wear, which is not much of anything.
Well, it's been a minute since I've been in a regular gym, so I'll just take your word for it.
Yeah. I'd like to get out of my regular gym sometimes, especially now. It's the beginning of the year. It's already crowded as it is, and then every motherfucker with their, this year I'm going to get, in shape. Mm-hmm. And it just floods for like a month where just motherfuckers are just showing up. Their brand new gym membership.
Yep. New year, new me, new routine that lasts all about like 17 days.
Yeah. Well, some people stick to it, I think. At some point I went to the gym and stuck to it, but it wasn't any kind of, I've always kind of been a workout guy. So, I don't think I was in that mindset of, get a gym. I remember when I came back to town, it was one of my top priorities was like, I got to get a gym membership. Had a membership up north with 24-hour fitness, which I don't even think's around anymore. And so when I came into town, they don't have one here. So it's just, I remember having to cancel that. And motherfuckers are pain in the ass. I'm just like, well, I want to cancel my membership. And they're like, well, you can't, whatever kind of contract I was on, you have to, be in a place where there isn't a 24-hour fitness within like a certain amount of miles of where you live. And I'm like, well, I'm cool, man, because, the No Town ain't got no 24-hour fitnesses. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, there it is. And they're like, you're going to have to send us proof, some kind of like a bill or something like that. So I end up getting hit with at least another month charge because, of course, I have to get a place.
That's
and then,
wild.
And then get like, the first bill to come in and then mail it to them or email it or whatever I did. Yeah, to prove that I don't, live in, anywhere near a fucking 24-hour fitness. So
they wouldn't let you cancel just because. What if you were like, hey, man, I hurt myself and I can't come here now?
I don't know how it works. This was in 2008-ish, and it may have changed. I don't know what the rules are, but when you sign up for whatever it is, like it's basically like a lease, like 3-year commitment, and you can't cancel it. Unless you have, and I know that was one of the main reasons. Obviously, I mean, if you got like a car wreck and you're, now paralyzed from the waist down, I'm sure that, God forbid, but if that happened. So I'm sure there's other reasons. That might be one of them, but I don't know how that works.
Well, I thought it was interesting.
I mean, with these days, though, see, the thing is back then it wasn't as easy to like, you couldn't put like blocks on your credit card, or you'd have to cancel it. That's the easy way out. It's just to simply cancel the card it's being charged on. When they charge it and it bounces back, then I guess they can come after you and say, well, we're going to sue you for the balance of what's left over the 3-year contract. But to me, it's just like BMG and Columbia House. Like, what are you going to come after me for? How long? For a couple $100? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not going to do it. And it would cost you more money to fucking chase me down.
Columbia House. That is a blast from the past.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I actually saw a T-shirt that said Columbia House, and I was almost tempted to buy it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it because the logo. The
yeah,
logo's written out.
No, I totally remember.
It says Columbia House across the shirt, and I think above it, like in smaller letters, it says I still owe money to, because everybody did.
Oh man,
how did that fucking model even work?
I don't know. I just remember it was on the back of Parade magazine.
Oh yeah,
in the Sunday newspaper.
Yeah, it was always in the newspaper. You get 12 CDs or cassettes for a penny. And then you're committed to buying a certain amount of albums over a period of time. Of course, the ones you would buy after were, more expensive than they were in the store. And of course, they weren't the real ones. That was the thing that I think burned people. People just, it was still early enough in our day and age of understanding how things are produced that if you received a cassette tape, let's say a CD, let's say a CD, and it's, it doesn't matter what it'd be, Def Leppard, Hysteria, and you would get it. And then if you went to the store and you saw the store's version, it was slightly different. And I'm not talking about the artwork on the cover. The case might be different. Like I know there was a period where...
I didn't know that.
Like the cases were clear. So even the spine on the side, instead of having that gray spine, it would be clear and you could see through. And there was an inlay cards that went all the way into that. So you could see through it. Then like you would get the BMG or the Columbia House. There was another one, I can't remember the other company that did the same bullshit. Theirs didn't look like that. And then even when you opened them up, you might have an entire booklet from the store. But when you got yours, it would be like just like maybe an open inlay, a picture of the band. Like it would be one of the pages from the ones you could buy in the store, but it wouldn't have all the other pages. Now I wasn't always like that. Sometimes you got ones that were pretty close to the store, but sometimes you got ones that had no inlay cards. So like you open it up and it was just nothing.
It was more expensive and like half the quality.
Well, so what I found out, that this is why I love YouTube, because my algorithm hit me with the whole Columbia House thing and how it worked. And so basically it was I think they were out of Indiana, and they just all they did, and again at the time it was a straight brilliant business models. They would just simply buy the rights to produce the record. So they would get that right, and then they had this fucking plant in Indiana where they would print up their version of the CD, and I guess it had to meet some kind of basic standard, but it didn't have to be all the same shit. And so where they were making their money was that the CD and the cassette, now according to BMG and Columbia House, that it was the exact same sound quality across the board. So the CD was the CD. There was no difference, but they didn't have to adhere to the exact same,
for the packaging.
For the packaging,
got it.
Which actually, in all honesty, is where most of those record companies spend the most of their money, and so they didn't have to do any of that shit. So I would say lesser quality, because you're right. You're not getting all the time. You're not getting the same CD case. You're not getting the fancy new clear ones or like I remember one time, Living Colour, they released their third album. It was called Time's Up, and the case was red. So it was a CD case that was red, and it was kind of cool. You had that. Not too many people had different color, cases. Right. But if you got it through like Columbia House, it was in a regular CD case. So yeah, that's how they saved their money. It was by cutting back on the production of the packaging, and it was more expensive. But again, that's how they would justify getting 12 CDs for a penny, and it's costing them probably a penny to produce these things. It's so damn cheap, and they were probably cutting every packaging corner they could conceivably do without violating whatever contract they had made with the record companies to produce it as I guess what would be some sort of secondary production entity.
I feel like that one tile on TV when it would say it like shooting stars and would be like the more you know, and right, it had like the trailing stardust thing. I feel like right when you finish sharing that story, that should have popped up on the screen. I mean,
at the time, no one knew. The first time I figured it out was I'd gotten it was a cassette tape, and the new thing with cassette tapes, just about I'd say 5 or 6 years before they finally went out of favor for CDs, was they became clear.
So, I remember that.
Yeah, all the cassette tapes were clear, and they would have white print on them, but the actual case was completely clear. And that was the new standard. But BMG and Columbia House and all those stupid companies, they still were printing them on straight white, solid white cassettes. So I remember one time I'd gotten my hands on, I believe it was an Iron Maiden record or cassette, and go to my friend's house, and he had the same one. And his was, first of all, he had all the inlay cards. I didn't have any of the inlay cards, and I had this white cassette, and he had the clear cassette. And he pointed out, he's like, "Oh, is that Record Club?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, those are cheap." And I'm like, "They're not the same?" I was looking at them, and I'm like, "Oh shit, these fuckers have been just absolutely screwing me." But then I realized I never paid for anything, because I would just get the 12 cassettes. They would send all kind of collection notices. I'm like, "Fuck you." They never came after me.
Right.
So the gym isn't gonna. Come on, give me a break. it's all strong arm tactics, because the reality of it is that if, let's say half the people, for whatever reason, stand-up citizens or people that may be actually afraid of getting in trouble, like, okay, I'll honor my contract, I'll pay it off, or whatever they do. So a lot of times I think with gyms, people just don't go anymore. They still pay for it, and then they'll eventually run out. And so if they get half the people who just cave in or don't attempt to cancel their memberships, they can just throw the threat out there, knowing that if at least half the people buy into the threat, that who cares, we're gonna lose some money, I guess.
Right.
And it's the same with BMG and Columbia House.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the blast from the past, because I never joined it, but it was always fun when I pulled that out of the Parade magazine, and then I get my little pen or highlighter.
Why didn't you do it? All you had to do was actually literally
mail it in.
You just took a penny, and you had to tape the penny in the little circle, like place penny here.
Right.
Fold it up, put it in an envelope, and send it out. And next thing you know, you got 12 albums for a penny on your doorstep.
I think, around that time, we lived way out in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of nowhere. And so that seemed like too much work. Even at that young age, it was too much work.
Yeah. I did it all the time. I mean, I was so damn broke, and I started playing guitar, was obsessed with music. And you couldn't, you had the radio and you had MTV, although I didn't have MTV. My parents wouldn't get cable.
You had the box?
You mean the cable box?
No, remember the box? There was a channel.
Oh, that's right. You could call in and get requests.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember that.
And it was
I could never get the channel to come in all that clear.
I don't think anybody ever did. Literally, no. It's funny, people of your or my age, every once in a while I'll ask them, hey, you remember that channel, the box? And that's 100% of the time, that's everyone's feedback. They're like, oh yeah, dude, it was always blurry, and you were trying to move the antenna to get it to come in accurately. But
kids today don't know the struggle of rabbit ears. It was fucking, especially if it was like a Super Bowl. It was just bad.
Wrap aluminum foil around the rabbit ears.
Doing anything to get better reception. So yeah, I think that that channel, whatever channel it was on, the best you could get it was a bunch of snow.
Yes,
you could see it, but there was a bunch of snow.
Correct.
And that was the peak of it. That's as good as it's ever gonna get.
That'd be interesting if any of our listeners out there actually had a full clear the box experience.
Well, I don't think it was on cable. See, if you had cable
it was
television,
regular. It was regular TV.
Yeah, but when you got cable TV, your regular stations were on cable as well.
Yes.
So, but I don't know if I'm assuming the box would have been. I know that it was channel 43 or something. It was a low budget channel around here. It was bad.
It was based out of some one stoplight town off Highway 5.
Probably easily, or being piped in from Canada.
Right. Yeah.
I don't even know how they did it, but yeah, they so you couldn't. We did the records. It was a big deal to us because a CD was $20 fucking dollars back when $20 was actually fucking $20. It was expensive.
It was expensive.
So you had all of these albums, and you didn't have too much reference. Again, whatever was played on the radio, which all the popular bands were being played on radio. You had your Bon Jovis and your Def Leppards and your Guns N' Roses and things like that. But you're talking about thousands of bands, and you would never hear them unless you bought the fucking album. And you had to make it. It was a game time decision. So when you didn't have a lot of money, that's record club shit looked really attractive because it was a bunch of albums that I wouldn't spend $20 on. I knew what was on that album. Yeah, there's some dope tracks on that or whatever. But I would, again, real careful with how you spend that 20 because you get one shot.
Right.
And I actually preferred to try to, buy something that, that was going to be a good album, but wasn't something that people had quite heard of yet. And you're always trying to find that elusive shit because you can only listen to the same 10, 15 bands, for so long.
Right.
You got to find new music. So that record club stuff was awesome for that because there were some bands I know the band, but I maybe heard one song from them. I'm curious, it's a good song. I wonder what that album sounds like. And for a penny, fuck yeah. And I would do it over and over again. That's another thing I didn't understand. I'd order 12. And then they would try to send you. It was the way they did it. It was they tried to trap you. They basically how it worked was after you bought the 12, you had to buy one a month at this inflated price. Now they'd send you this card saying, you need to buy an album this month. And what they did was they said you can tell us what you want. They had a entire catalog. But if you can send this card back and say you don't want one this month. I think you had 3 years to fill the requirement, however many you had to buy. But if you don't send the card back or order something, they had the pick of the month. They'd be like, Bryan Adams, whatever. And if you didn't respond by sending the card back saying you didn't want something, you just get a fucking random album show up at your doorstep, and they'd ask you for like, I think it was like $22 or something. It was expensive.
Wow.
And so, yeah, we were just like, I just stopped. And then I would turn around, and as they're like sending me collection notices, I just put another penny on another flyer sent out. They would send me another 12 under a different name.
Oh man, that's hilarious. No, and see, I was a huge Tower Records fan, the mom and pop record stores, and so that's my history of buying music.
Yeah, and I think for me it was the same thing because it became a thing. I guess music became popular enough around here where there were used stores started popping up.
Mm-hmm. The Warehouse.
Well, no, the Warehouse was new. That's new stuff.
The Warehouse did have new stuff.
But they did have used stuff as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like that didn't actually start really taking shape until CDs came out, because cassettes, I think, had a low reliability level because
Correct.
every time you played it, it degraded at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I walked into a music store and I had 20 cassette tapes, I'm not saying they wouldn't buy them and try to resell them, but I think it was a bigger gamble because you ever like the worst nightmare of anybody that had cassette tapes was you're jamming out to your favorite album and you're just jamming out, all of a sudden it stops. The
Yep.
music stops, but the things are still spinning.
Yep.
And you opened it up, and the motherfucking machine ate it, and you had to pull it out slowly, and it crinkled it up like an accordion, right?
Yep.
So now your tape is mashed up like that, and so you get your pencil, and you wind it back in.
Slowly and carefully.
And then you like take a pencil on both ends and try to like tighten them opposite so you could try to reduce that the creases. But there's like, unless you were super lucky, wherever those creases were, it damaged it.
You would know it. And the next time you played through it, it'd be like bzzz.
It would make it would either drop out or it'd be some kind of fucked up sound. And again, if the tape was eaten like that and you were able to kind of get it out and put it back together and rewinded the tape to the beginning and you try to sell that to somebody, they're not going to know that like a minute 42 on that album it's going to be all fucked up because it got eaten up.
Right.
So I don't think that the used market took off until CDs, because CDs were like records, because there were used record stores. But I never listened to records because, again, that was considered sort of passe, which is stupid because in hindsight now, records are in a lot of ways some of the best mediums for music. But when CDs came out, it was easy. You could just look at a CD and see how scratched up it was. And if it was clean, then, yeah, these people would buy it. And we would go to the stores and we would buy albums for a fraction. It was like $5-6 to buy an album.
Oh, for sure.
And, I listened to enough obscure bands and bands that weren't super popular that people were selling those to used music stores left and right. So I'm like, I want to get this band and this album. I almost guarantee if I went to a used record store, they'd have it there. Nobody wanted this shit.
Yeah.
A handful of people did, and I was one of them.
No, it's such a great memory because I used to rollerblade back and forth during college from living with my grandparents to Fresno State, and I would tutor math classes at Fresno State. And I would use my tutor money. I think I got paid every other Friday, and I would stop at the Warehouse in my rollerblades to specifically, because I had no money, but to go through all of the used CD collection.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a Discman wrapped in a towel perched in the very top of my backpack area, and the towel was to like prevent skipping.
Oh yeah.
And I still have all of those used CDs because I couldn't afford any new ones. It was like, or it would be like I could get one new album or I could get 3 used albums.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would do that like almost every other Friday on payday. I would hit up the Warehouse.
Yeah.
So, and I still have them all tucked away in one of my cases.
I sold all mine.
You did?
The only thing I ever kept was I have 4 albums. These are vinyl that I bought used, and yeah, they're either albums that are like my favorite albums of all time. One is Guns N' Roses band album cover from the Appetite for Destruction, a very famous band cover, and it's a promotional copy, no less. It has a promotional stamp on it, so it's one of the first 10,000 produced. I think that's what they pressed it for promotional. So I don't know, it's worth money. I bought it for $20 back in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now probably worth $500. Look at that. I can retire.
Of course. Yeah. You can buy half a plane ticket.
I have an important announcement for you, so stay tuned.
Yo, that's some next level shit, bruh.
So you got me. Big deal.
the internet's answer to a question no one asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
Folks, thank you for joining us for another episode of The Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I'm Sean Kabibi.
And I am Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac.
And I'm going to hit the used CD store, because they still exist. I don't know about CDs, but used record stores still exist.
I'm going to go shop for some used 8-tracks.
Oh.
That's where the quality's at.